Hey guys, Joel's coming at you with another reasoning session. Today I'm going to be talking about what we as society have been going through and how that parallels with nothing that has come before this time.
Come now and let us reason together. Come now, we can talk it over.
So if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more like content. It definitely helps with the algorithm and for YouTube to promote this, because honestly, they've been doing some crazy stuff with shadow banning, but this message isn't stopping. Sources lining up those of us that have the ears to hear to actually receive this message, and nothing in this world is holding us back. You know, if you hear some noise, they're actually doing paving all around this neighborhood. And that's crazy because, like I've said in my other videos, I've been doing renovations at home, and that actually started by me just kind of fixing my own health and taking care of my own mentality in both the physical and the spiritual realm. And then the next step after that was for me to clean out house and literally start redesigning my own house. And then all of a sudden I'm starting to see they're repaving the streets in my neighborhood. And even on top of that, the politics is just being exposed and changed in this nation like I couldn't even believe before would ever happen. So that's the way Source manifests. Literally, it's a fractal reality, and when you take care of your inner man, it just projects into the outer world, and we start to see the changes where we thought we couldn't even influence reality. So I just wanted to share that. I'm going to jump straight into the text. Today's text comes from the Oracles of Joel, which is honestly one of my favorite oracles, if not my most favorite. You know, I gotta live up to my namesake. But I'm just going to start at the beginning and cover a couple verses here. Honestly, I could go over this whole book and just do very intensive exegetical study on this whole thing. And maybe I'll be doing that in the future. But for now, I'm just going to scratch the surface here. The second verse of the very first chapter says, "Hear this, you old men, and give ear, all you inhabitants of the land. Has this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers?" You know, he's saying, has anything like this ever happened before? Tell you your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. Like, literally, what we've been through is going to be a heck of a bedtime story for future generations. That which the palmer worm has left has the locust eaten, and that which the locust has left has the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm has left has the caterpillar eaten. Every single one of these species attacks different areas of a plant. You know, we see the palmer worm attacks the root, and the locust attacks the fruit. Sorry for the rhyme there, guys. But further, the cankerworm attacks the wood and the branches and bores into the trunks of the trees. And the caterpillar, of course, affects the leaves. You know, and we can see the result of this. It says, "He has laid my vine waste and barked my fig tree. He has made it clean bare and cast it away. The branches thereof are made white." Now, the vine and the fig tree both refer to different aspects of society. The vine refers to the economy of society, and the fig tree actually refers to like the religious institutions. And we've seen that with our society, you know, literally every level, you know, with the social distancing and all that stuff, our own personal connections have just been decimated. And then, of course, with businesses, you know, many businesses are just deemed non-essential straight up. But the ones that have been open have been suffering because they can't even take customers the way they used to. They can't fulfill orders. They can't do all these things. They can't even get their supplies the way they used to. And you know, they're under really hard times because they still got to pay their overheads. They still got to pay their rent. You know, they still got bills to pay and all this stuff. And yet they're not making money. Many of these businesses were just breaking even in the days before. And now, like so many have been forced to close. We've seen societal pressures where people are under so much depression. Like suicide rates are through the roof. OD is through the roof. Unemployment, all these things, you know, people are having domestic problems because of this. We're seeing society being degraded on every level. And I'm not even going to get into what the media is portraying on the political side and the so-called medical side, because that so-called medical side isn't true medicine. It's allopathy, and it's based in pharmakia, which is a very, very serious subject. That's a whole other series of episodes right there. I won't get into that in this episode. But the prophet Joel just cries out. He says, "Awaken, you drunkards, and weep and howl, all you drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth." Literally, we were stuck in our day-to-days, and we were drunk in this paradigm. We were just saying, this is the way it is. I've got to work every day, got to make a living. Oh, that's out of my league. This is my lot in life. And all of a sudden, all of that was cut off, and we've had to face reality straight up and reassess, is this what we want for our futures? Is this really what we want for ourselves? He says, "For a nation has come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and he has the cheek teeth of a great lion." Maybe if he was talking in our present day, he would use the dragon as a metaphor. But he says, "Lament like a virgin girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth." Literally, like with this social distancing and all this kind of stuff, even if you want to hang out with people, they kind of don't want to hang out with you. I had plans all summer last year. It was 420 for a whole month, and I was going to call up all my friends. We're going to hit that bowl. But literally, that went all out the window with the lockdown. Even though that's one of the most sacred offerings that we do in relation to Source. But look what he goes on to say. He says, "The meat offering and the drink offering is cut off from the house of Yahweh. The priests, Yahweh's ministers, mourn." He goes on about all this decimation in the land. But he has a solution. And he says, "Sanctify a fast. Call a solemn assembly. Gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of Yahweh your God, and cry unto Yahweh." So that's the real solution. And those of us that are aware actually know to tap into this source. And that is what will manifest all these solutions that seem impossible in the physical. He says, "Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound an alarm in my holy mountain." He's not saying sound the alarm out there for everybody that's stuck in blindness. He's saying sound it here at home, in the place of the very temple, where the supposed people who know better are supposed to be doing better. They're not doing better. Sound the alarm for those people. "Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly." Let the priests, not the outsiders, not the people that are blinded, not the people that have gone on and taken the Jabberwocky. The ministers of Yahweh weep, where? Between the porch and the altar, literally on the temple grounds. And let them say, "Spare your people, Yahweh, and give not your heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God?" Right? We're saying the people that have led this whole churchianity movement, we're saying for them to wake up. The wake-up call is for them, and they literally need to wise up and be who they're supposed to be, not run some business and monopolize people's souls. But if they do this, look what he says. He says, "Then Yahweh will be jealous for his land and pity his people. Yea, Yahweh will answer and say unto his people, Behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and you shall be satisfied therewith, and I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen." And he goes on to say, "And the floor shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with wine and oil." This stuff is coming back. The promise of turning around and actually seeking the divine justice from source in the embodiment of Yahweh. Yahweh will deliver. And that's what he's saying. He says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you." So the solution is right there for us, and we can see that Source has our best interests at heart. All we got to do is realize the system of justice that's running this whole show, and realize that if we're ignoring it and if we're trying to do things from our egos, a lot of times we'll manifest things in the physical that we'll have to fight through, and many times we can't fight through based on our own physical position in reality. But our transcendent position in reality can literally manifest through that and around that. And that is what's embodied in the concept that, Yahweh is long-suffering. He is slow to anger, and he is forgiving for all who turn to him, no matter how far they stray. That essence of divine justice, what goes around comes around, is the very embodiment of Yahweh. That's what Yahweh literally means. That's what this term is talking about in the text. So yes, these times that we've been through have been unparalleled, and man, for a while we were just trying to figure out what do we do now. But when we really know how to turn things around, things are already turning around, guys. And honestly, it started before the 4th, and we're seeing it percolate into the physical reality now after the 4th, but honestly, all this stuff was already in the works, and that's why Alberta has said no more restrictions. You know, we're taking the masks off no matter what you say. Even our mayor in Calgary, he's trying to push this thing, but he can't push it because straight up our province has said no more. And the province wouldn't be able to say no more just like that if they didn't have any way to back it up. So yes, this pressure was coming from really high up, and all these premiers, all these governors, all these politicians were under extreme pressure from, you know, beyond the political realm to enforce these mandates. But all of a sudden, that power was broken in the causal realm, and we're starting to see it show up. So just know that it's already happened. I already have validation from source in the physical on many levels on this already, and it's only 2 days since July 4th. But by the end of the month, we will see that justice has, in fact, I'm already seeing it, guys. I'm already seeing this justice. I'm already seeing it. So tune in and you too will start to see it. You too will actually embody it and manifest that life that you knew you were deserving of, that is just catapulting out of this dark time warp of a lockdown. And we will literally see a dawning of a new era emerge as the sun breaks over this horizon. So I love you guys. I'll check you in the next reasoning sesh. Joel signing out once again. Agape, Salaam, Namaste, Shalom.